Hello there everybody and welcome to this video. Today I will show you how to carve out a small hexagonal bonsai pot, even called a mame pot. Just follow my steps if you want to do the same thing, and yes, it's really fun and quite easy to do this. First of all, I have to cut out the shape that I want. So I use a ruler, a pen, and a pair of scissors to cut it out. The clay I use is a stoneware clay, and stoneware is actually really good for pots outside. In Finland it's cold in the winter, so I can actually dig my bonsai pots down to the ground and they will survive the whole winter, even if it's minus 20 or even 30 degrees centigrade. So I start by transferring the shape of the bonsai pot to the clay, and then I use a ruler and cut out with a needle tool just to get the shape. After that, I use a sharp metal rod to cut out the extra material. The season in Finland is really short, so growing bonsais is not actually a good idea. But if you use Finnish native trees, you can actually plant them in some pots and enjoy them. I gently smoothen out the edges so it looks really nice, and I try to keep the hexagonal shape. And it's now time to start making the legs. I have a stack of plywood that I use to get the right height. And just by using a tool and the support that I get from the plywood, I know that the height of the feet will be the same all the way around the whole pot. So I remove a lot of clay. I just want 3 feet on this bonsai pot. I use my tool and the plywood to get exactly the same height on the bonsai pot, and I remove all the extra material. So I only have 3 feet left. The clay I use is also a raku clay, so it's a really good clay for sculpting and yes, to build bonsai pots with. As you can see, I'm now refining the legs, so they look a little bit more professional. But always remember, if you have your plywood, then you can use it to get the real and right height all the way. I just want to cut a few cuts along the side and the outside of the bonsai pot. And again, I use the plywood to get it right. And of course, turn the pot all the time and try to keep the tool flat against the plywood all the time. This way it will actually meet the first line when you go all the way through. I have two different pieces of plywood, one 6 millimeters thick and one 3 millimeters thick. It's good to start with the 6 millimeter and carve away a lot of clay before you go to the really thin 3 millimeter. This way I can remove the extra material from the inside and take away a little bit of the weight of the clay. I recommend that you let it dry for a while before you start cutting the final cuttings, because when you carve like this, it might lose its shape if it's too wet. When all the carving is done, it's time for me to finish up the pot. I of course need to make a hole in the bottom, but after that I will just leave it to dry. And this is what it actually looks like when it's dry. And it's now time to put it in the kiln and burn it for the first time. After that I will glaze it, and then I have my finished pot. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you get some great ideas to make your own pots this way. Bye bye.